Well, hello and welcome to a new video. Today we are talking all about Fenty products. So before we dive into this almost full face of Fenty beauty products, let's address what is obvious. I have very dark hair again. As you might remember, a couple of months ago, I dyed my hair blonde. And I kind of messed up where I had a very blonde root and then the rest of my hair, and then my hair started to grow back. So I had my natural hair color, and then that's that very like blonde orange weird color, and then the rest of it. And it's been like that for a while, and I have been thinking about dyeing my hair darker again, but I was just kind of on the fence about it. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And you know what, with fall coming up and certain events in my personal life, I felt ready to go back to a darker version of myself. So now that this is out of the way, let's focus on the makeup. So Fenty, I would say, is probably one of, if not my favorite makeup brand of all time. It represents so much. Like when you look at everything it has done as a brand for inclusivity, it definitely changed the game. The downside is that because of Rihanna launching this brand, a lot of other celebrities felt like there was some cash for them to grab, and since then, celebrity brands in the makeup world have been everywhere. It's not something I'm very much a fan of, and I've mentioned it before. That being said, I don't think we can blame Fenty as a brand alone for this small revolution in the makeup world. So let's not point any fingers and let's focus on the positive, which is the fact that Fenty as a brand has released a lot of products, most of which I actually really like. So let's just go over everything that's on my face. So I primed using this. This is the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. Honestly, not my favorite. This is a mini size. I got it, I believe, in a set or something. Here's the thing with primers. Either it's a super hydrating or glowy primer, or it's a very pore-filling primer. Other than that, anything that lands kind of in between, I'm like, what difference does it really make? Now, I don't know if you remember, but when I made a video about my samples, I mentioned the fact that I had the soft silk primer and the soft matte primer, which I do plan on using. I'm thinking I'm gonna do a half of my face with this one and the other half with the other one. I think that's what I'm gonna do. In the meantime, for this full face, I used the actual primer I had. And yeah, to be honest, it's nothing amazing. I'm happy I have this because it's a Fenty product. And like I said, I enjoy a bunch of the products that they release. I don't think it's anything you need in particular, but it's nice. It's a primer. For foundation, I have the Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. This is the shade 260. It's still, when you compare it to the rest of my body, it's still a tad too light for me, but because I have a high neck thing and because I'm not leaving my house, I don't really care that my face doesn't exactly match the rest of my body. I love this foundation. I actually have a couple of shades of it, and I know that for some people it was too matte, too drying, too full coverage, all of that. I actually do love it, and I have noticed that if for some reason I find it to be too drying on my face, I can simply use an oilier primer and it works just fine. I really do love this foundation. Like I said, it's not for everyone. If you have very dry skin, I would stay away from this, but I love it. I also have tried their Hydrating Foundation, which I mentioned in a tops and flops video. It was a flop. It moved everywhere on my face. It was a greasy mess, but I'm not gonna focus on all of my Fenty collection today. I'm simply mentioning the products I'm wearing on my face as of now. Next up, I have the concealer. This is the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer. Same thing as the foundation, whereas usually this works perfectly for my skin tone. At the moment, it's still a little bit too light. I did have some issues because of it, because it's way too light, so it actually highlighted my dark circles more than anything. I still used it because I wanted to really go full face Fenty as much as I could. Shade match put aside, this is a very moussey texture, which I know some people might not enjoy. Again, if you have very dry skin and dry under eye area, I don't think it's something that you would necessarily enjoy. I do like it, honestly. I've used it a bunch already and I've always enjoyed it. I then used the Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Butter. Again, it is way too light for me at the moment, but like I said, I wanted to try and use as many Fenty Beauty products as I could. And this powder I haven't used in a while, and oh my god, that scent, it is scented, okay? So if you don't like your makeup, and especially your powder, if you don't like it to smell, you're not gonna like it because it's quite heavily fragranced. I love it though. For some reason, I hadn't used it in a while, and I smelled it, and I was like, I was instantly brought back to so many memories. But yeah, other than that, I do enjoy this powder. Again, it's quite drying, especially if you use it on your under eye area and you want to bake. You're gonna have drier skin. Now, to be fair, if you have a dry skin, you're not exactly supposed to bake, but I still do like it. I like the fact that I feel like it does soften my pores a little bit. It's not the most pore blurring powder I own, but I still like it, and that smell is, oh my god, it's just heaven to me. When it comes to bronzer, I actually used a couple of her bronzers. I first used the Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the shade Macchiato, and then I used the Instant Warmth Bronzer, the powder, in the shade Shady Biz. I first used the cream version. This one is a tad darker, but it's still light enough that I know I will be able to use it all winter long. It's an amazing formula. It's easy to use, easy to blend. It's just, honestly, if you're new with cream products and you're on the fence about it, you're gonna be able to use this, no problem. And then this one, this is a mini powder. I have another one in a full size, but in a different shade that's a bit more cool toned. This one is very warm, but still, it's amazing. Like I said, I used both of these, first the cream and then this one on top to make sure it stayed. I love it as well, honestly. It's not my favorite formula as far as powder bronzers are concerned, but it's still quite good. And I love the fact that you can get a mini of these because it's just so easy to travel with. And then for blushes, I used the cream blush. This is in the shade Petal Poppin. They don't have any powder blushes, which I know right now the trend is definitely on cream products, but still, to not have the option of a powder blush, I find it interesting. I don't know if it's something that they plan on releasing anytime soon. I do enjoy this color. This is in the best match for the rest of my face that's going on at the moment, but it's the only blush I have from the line. They have a few other shades I'm really curious about, but you know, I already have like over 30 blushes, so it's not reasonable for me to go and purchase other blushes from this brand and this line just in different shades at the moment. I do enjoy it as well. Today I used it after I baked my under eyes with that powder, and it still went on my face easily, so you don't have to worry about any weird texture. It's slightly shiny, but not too much. It is a wonderful product. And then I also use this. This is the Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. This is the shade 210. When I bought it, it was too dark for me. At the moment, it's slightly still too light. I still used it on top of the loose setting powder under my eyes because I wanted to darken it a little bit. Otherwise, there would have been too much of a difference between my under eyes and the rest of my face. And I just kind of use it all over to set the rest of the face and make sure that everything was matte. And for the highlight, I have a bunch of Fenty highlighters. There's still a couple more that I can think of that I'm like, ooh, I wish I had that. But today I used the Freestyle highlighter Killawatt in the shade Trophy Wife. Is it the most flattering color for my skin tone? No. For sure, this is much better for you if you have medium to dark skin tone. I still love it so much. Like, I bought it because it's such a historic release for some reason. I felt like I had to own this, and I'm glad that I do, and I do love it. And you can still use it as an eyeshadow topper, whatever. I love this. I use it whenever I have a tan going on, and I know I can, you know, get away with it a bit more. Yeah, I love it. And to finish off with the face, I use the spray. This is the Makeup Refreshing Spray, What It Do. I've used quite a bunch of it. It's not the spray that I use if I want my makeup to last a very, very long time. It's also not a spray that's going to be super dewy to the point where it gets kind of greasy, in my opinion. It's just a nice spray to finish off your makeup. The mist on this is amazing. Let me just show you. See how soft? And that scent, again, I don't need my makeup products to be scented, but if you're gonna put a scent to it, it might as well smell good, and this does. Now for brows, I did own the MVP, I think it was called MVP brow pencil from Fenty. I don't have it anymore because I finished it off, which, I mean, if I did empty it, it can only mean that it was good, and it was. I had the shade Ash Blonde or Ash Brown, I'm not sure, but it was a very, very good shade, very natural, which is something I remember when I was working at Sephora. Whenever a client was coming in and she was looking for a very, very natural colored brow product, I would go to Fenty because I feel like they managed the shades very well when it comes to the brow products. Again, like I said, I don't have that product anymore, unfortunately. I wouldn't be opposed to buy this again. It's just that I've purchased other things in between, and then I already have like 10 brow pencils, so really, how many more does the girl need? But it was a good eyebrow pencil. So instead, what I did today is that I used the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, and then on top of it, I used a Fenty brow product. This is the Brow MVP Sculpting Brow Wax Pencil and Styler. I really don't know what I think about it. I haven't used it in a while because when I first got it, I tried it a bunch of times, but I'm not sure I love it. I feel like it does leave some waxy residue, which is not something I'm a fan of. And look, on the face of it, to have a wax product like this, but in a pen version, like, it's so smart. Like, how come no one thought about it before? But when you use it, it's actually, yeah, it leaves a weird residue. I'm not sure I love it. It's also not super strong when it comes to holding my brows in place. Not sure how I feel about this. It's definitely not a product from Fenty I would recommend and be like, oh, you need this. It's so different from anything else. It is different from anything else, but probably not in the best way. Now, when it comes to eyes, I used my Fenty Moroccan Spice eyeshadow palette. I believe that this was limited edition for a holiday or whatever. I have used it before on this channel. I did a Guess the Eyeshadow palette with this one. I do enjoy it. I feel like it's one of these palettes that people just don't really think of, and I feel like there's some nice shades in there. The Snap Shadows from Fenty, I've never owned and actually tried, but from what I could swatch and use on clients in store, they're not my favorite, honestly. I would have to try them a bit more, but there's never been anything eyeshadow wise from that brand that I was like, oh my god, so super excited about. Recently they released what's it called? The Glossy Posse eyeshadow palette, something like that. It looks pretty, but it looks very nude, and yeah, not so much into their eyeshadows, but this palette I do enjoy. I also use the Flypencil Longwear Pencil Eyeliner in the shade Bachelor Pad. This is a bit too gray for my liking, in the sense that it's a kind of a blue gray. But it's nice. It definitely does not budge. It stays even in your waterline. The biggest issue I have with this product is the packaging, because once you get the product out, you cannot go backwards and put it back in. So that's kind of a bummer. Other than that, if you're looking for longevity, definitely this works. It's just color-wise, not my favorite. And then I use the Flyliner Longwear Liquid Eyeliner in the shade Cause I'm Black, which I love. It's very, very long wearing. The downside is that it has a tendency to dry out kind of quickly. This is actually the second I bought, because the first one dried on me. But it is a good matte, super black eyeliner that really does not budge. So if you're looking for something that you can walk in the wind and have tears in the corner over your eyes and still have your liquid eyeliner stay in place, this is it. And finally, I use the mascara. This is the Full Frontal Volume Lift and Curl mascara. This is a very, very small sample size product. This is what the wand looks like. So it has a thicker and a slimmer side. Not a fan of it. It's the first time I've used it. It's not awful. It's just, I don't know. It's not really anything I particularly loved. So I think you're better off with a drugstore mascara that you're gonna pay like a fifth of the price of this. But yeah, I still need to use it a couple more times to really make up my mind about it. And finally, when it comes to lips, I do have a bunch of their lip products. I don't think they ever released a lip pencil. So what I did is that I used the Stunna lip paint in the shade Underdog. So yeah, I haven't used a pencil with this. Honestly, you can get away without a pencil because it is so precise that if you master doing your lips, you're gonna be fine. I do love this shade, even though it's a bit dark. I mean, I'm in the mood, if you couldn't tell. I have another shade of this. I also have a bunch of their glosses. pretty much every one of their lip products that I own, I actually love. So yeah, the liquid lipstick from Fenty are amazing. They are not too drying, they're super watery, and then they don't move at all. So this is it for today's video and for all the Fenty products I put on my face today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel because it's free, so why wouldn't you? And I will see you guys later. Bye.